Hey, what's up, tribe? Just to give you a heads up on what you'll be watching today, this will be episode 2 of Take Your Time, where I interviewed a Miss Reka Smith, a 9 to 5 worker who decided to pick up wholesaling. She decided that whatever she was doing didn't seem like it was going to pan out enough to fulfill her for a lifetime. So she wanted to add more income so that she could have more control over her life and what she could do with the rest of her time. So she jumped straight into the education to learn wholesaling and just went crazy with it this year. She talks about how she learned it, her processes, and her goals for the future. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to watch the whole video.
Numbers like I'm MJ and Dash Jackson and Jordan. Boy, I'm killing y'all boring. Time to give the world what they really need.
Good afternoon, tribe. My name is Darius Lester, and this is Mammoth Money Mindset. And I am here today with a wholesaling expert, Miss Reka Smith. Would you like to tell the viewers a few things about yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to be here today. I am Reka Smith. You can call me Reka either way. I am, number one, I am a IT specialist, and I do wholesale. I've been doing wholesale for about a year now, and that's how I met the great Darius.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so excited to be here.
Yeah, no, we are very excited to have you. As you just said, we met maybe a couple months ago. Was it that long ago? Was it a month ago? Wasn't really that long ago.
Right.
And it was to do, a real estate deal. The home that I've been talking about in some of my other videos was a part of this deal. It was an assumption, of a loan. So I was very fortunate to stumble across Miss Reka's and get that done. So, good business, good people. And I wanted to have her on just to come on and talk about wholesaling because it's something I've been interested in myself. I'm in the process of doing my first wholesale deal. It's
Cool.
been spanning across a few months. So we will see if we actually get to the closing table. But so far, it seems to be going well.
Right.
Mhm.
Awesome.
But so we'll just get into it. As far as wholesaling goes, you said you've been doing it for a year.
Yeah.
How'd you get started? What made you want to enter this line of work?
Yeah. So, like I said, I have a passion for information technology. That's what I have my degree in.
Hmm.
But I know that I've always wanted to tap into something like investing, and where I won't have to spend so many hours working for somebody else, but
Hmm.
yet working for myself and calling my own shots. So, funny thing, I was working an IT contract. After that contract had ended, I start to think what's next. Do I want to get another contract? Do I want to find out what else I can do on my own? So yeah, I just got on YouTube, got on Google, got on YouTube, and stumbled across a little thing called wholesaling.
Hmm.
I at first I had no about it. I didn't even know it existed. So
Right.
as I watched more and more investors talk about it, how they come across finding deals, the formula, the how to comp, I just dived right in. There's actually the guy's name is Alex. I watched a training course on YouTube. It was like 30 videos, day one through day 30, and I actually gotten through with it like day four.
Hmm.
So I kind of like buckled down and pretty much learned everything I needed to know to get started. I'm still learning today, and I think it's important because I'm learning my buyers.
Hmm.
Things are always changing, so you have to adapt and adapt quickly. So yeah, I've been doing it for about a year now. I've been getting quite a few deals, meeting new investors like yourself, and just learning, what it is that you guys are looking for. I think to me that what drives my success because when I do start my day, I already know what it is I'm looking for, who I want to target. Yeah.
Right. No, that's good. As with most businesses, what I'm learning is
Hmm.
having a target audience makes your process bigger. If
Right.
people say cast a wide net, but it's like, from what it seems like, people get much better results when it's like, this is what I'm looking for. So then you can make yourself a master of that
Right.
area. So
That's
it's like anyone in that area, boom, right there. Rika's,
there
she's
you
the
go.
master of that one. That's who I'm gonna go to. I don't gotta go to all these other people for other things. So I know this
Right.
is her lane.
Right.
So no, that's good. So well, heck. So within this year, just like roundabout about how many deals would you say you've closed?
I should have counted her statements. Um, I want to say, and I don't want to lie, I,
Sure,
I want to say at least, I think about anywhere from 6 to 8. I
okay,
really haven't counted.
sure.
I try to do a deal a month, but sometimes it stretches until that second month,
Yeah, I get
depending
it.
on what happens, right?
Hmm.
I know my very first deal took a couple of months because we had to, the seller actually had to go through the judge to get a quiet title. So
Gotcha.
that kind of took a couple of months, but hey, we made it.
Right.
So yeah, and I haven't counted. I haven't stopped to say, okay, this is deal number 5 or 6.
Hmm.
I'm just throwing an estimate out there. I think anywhere from 6 to 8 deals I've done so far. Still have a couple of more that hasn't closed yet,
Right.
that I'm working through. So yeah.
No, I get it, and that's great, especially for something that you just looked up some videos and just like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. You just jump in. I think that's really good.
Have my IT job keeps me busy 40 hours a week. So yeah.
Right. No, it's good. So, could you explain like the typical process you go when it comes to finding and acquiring properties to then go and wholesale?
Right. So I know off market is kind of key. I know off market, you kind of get your deals a little bigger as far as your rewards when you're going off market. However, I do tend to get a lot of properties that are on the market. And I
Hmm.
say that because I network with agents. They bring me some of the deals off market before they list them. If I'm lucky enough, I find a buyer who actually, wants to work with me on it, and boom, it's assigned. And a lot of deals are on the market too, but I have a strategy for on market deals. It has to make sense. So I let my partners know, my agent partners know that, hey, if we can, make it a wholesale deal, the seller has to understand that I'm coming in expecting immediate equity. So I do, expect a discount.
Hmm.
I don't buy it retail. Just make it clear to them up front. That way nobody's, shocked when they hear, this is what I have to buy it for. So I think, whether it's on or off market, you have to communicate that importance.
Right.
Yeah, and be flexible too, because if I gotten some deals where I price it at X amount, then I have to adjust it a little bit for my buyer, which I am a-okay with doing that. It's just all about communicating and just leaving enough meat on the bone for everybody.
Right.
Hmm.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
Yep.
So we briefly talked about, centralizing like who your market or who your
Right. Right.
preferred buyers are gonna be. What would you say is your, specific market? Like what would people want to be like, all right, let me make sure I go to her for this.
Right, because the first investor I clicked with, he was only into buying properties that were move-in ready,
Hmm.
which kind of made it easier for me to go on the market because you have a lot of move-in ready properties on market. You have to
Right.
configure the numbers and compare what comps are in order to make it make sense. So yeah, my first investor, he wanted, just, move-in ready. As I began to do more research, more studying, to see where the trends are, you get a lot of more investors that kind of want those distressed properties. So
Hmm.
that kind of is my main target right now. It's because you attract so many more investors that's looking to add equity into their properties. So yeah, so right now I am focusing on more distressed properties. If I find something along the way that's moving ready, I know that I have one or two investors that will pick it up.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think you do more of finding investors that let you know what type of homes they want and then you find the homes to match that? Or are you finding the homes, distressed or move-in ready, and then trying to find investors to match those homes? Which one do you find first, or which one do you think is more?
Yeah. So at first it was all about finding a deal.
Mhm,
After the research that I've done, it was all about finding that deal. But as I began to do it more, I began to learn what it is that my partners are looking for, what it is that the end buyer is looking for. And I think to me, I think that would be more important for me because I don't want to be swimming over here and all of the end buyers are over here,
mhm.
on the opposite side. Um, your deal is only as good as who wants it. So
Like
so
that.
yeah, I think to me it's just getting to know what it is that the end buyer is looking for. And just stand in that realm, stand in that area. Like right now, my two main areas now is anywhere in or around Birmingham and in Montgomery.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. No, and that's good. So I recently read a book called, I don't remember the name of it. Having a
Hmm.
brain fart. But essentially it's about never split the difference. That's what
There
it's
you go.
called. So it's a book about negotiations, right? And one of the points they hit on in that book a lot is like pretty much like to your point, finding what the end buyer actually wants. So
Hmm.
sometimes, when you get into deals, so I'm trying to learn how to better underwrite deals, right?
Right.
Getting more creative with maybe the financing or the terms for
Right.
things. Because I could just assume that this person just wants, $40,000 and they just want that right now. But it could be that, they're about to get out of the game and they're about to retire and they're just trying to have a chilled out life. So
Hmm.
maybe if I offered, maybe if I offered 50,000, but just over, a span of time, they'd
Right.
prefer that. They're like, oh, well, yeah, I can do that. So now I don't have to just give up $40,000,
Right.
in one day. I could just give up payments because they're chilling. They'd love to just have, payments over a long period of time. So
Hmm.
yeah, really getting into talking to the person enough to find out what they actually are shooting for,
Right.
with the deal, like what they actually want, their end goal besides just money. So I think that's really good of you to be looking into that, to figure out how you're going to go about your deals.
Right. And I take a look at, I run data on what possible equity the seller has, versus how I can structure a creative deal. Like if they
Hmm.
have that big amount of equity, do you want to come to the table, closing table with that amount, or do you want to work it out where you can stretch that out? So I always like to ask my sellers, hey, are you in a position to take this amount of money, but over time? Because
Hmm.
they may be in a position where they don't need that chunk urgently right now.
Right.
And, they may, be in a position they can take it over time. So, hey,
Hmm.
ask because that's where your opportunities come from. Just asking, finding
Right.
out where they are right now. Yep.
Definitely. So I know you said you work with a lot of real estate agents,
Mhm.
to maybe work out some of your on the market deals. Do you
Yeah,
have any other people that you work with? Like have you worked to build any sort of team as far as this business
not
goes?
not yet. I think I need to be to that point.
Hmm.
Because like I said, I'm always working. I'm always looking for a deal because I'm just a one man show.
Right.
So yeah, and that's why I like partnering with the agents. I try to catch them and have them bring me their deals before they even put it on the market. So that's
Right.
kind of where I am now. I have a few off market properties right now that they're bringing me. I'm looking over them now to see, who I can, assign this to, who's looking for properties in this area based off my cash buyers list. So yeah,
Hmm.
I love working with agents. And I don't work with too many, just a handful in certain areas.
Right.
I just like building that rapport. Like with one agent in Montgomery, I have I have an agreement. Whereas if she's an agent involved in this property, um, yeah, she get the agent fee. Sometimes we structure it to be a little bit more, less than that 5%, just depending on the deal and what the buy price is ultimately. So she's
Hmm.
very flexible with her fee. And if she brings me a property that she's not an agent of, um, what I would do is just give her a 20% finder's fee. Yeah.
Okay.
So we have
20,
we have
20% of what?
of my assignment fee.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And to me, I would rather network and just meet new people, have
Hmm.
those opportunities than to stay in one lane and miss out on, other opportunities. That's
Right.
kind of like, yeah, my strategy.
No, I think that's smart.
Right.
So the wholesale deal that I'm working on currently that has been spanning across the last 3 months,
Hmm.
it's it's for like 13 properties.
Oh,
Like
wow.
yeah,
Okay.
no, it's real weird for my first one, but we are figuring it out.
Oh, yeah.
Um, so just in working through this, I've met a couple of builders, a few contractors, some random
Hmm.
handymen that were changing the doors on stuff. So it's like,
Right.
now when I'm doing my own real estate stuff, these are people because they're all independent people. They're not
Right.
locked into anybody else. So they're like, oh, well, we're just down for work. And I was like, perfect. I need people that are down for work.
All right.
And then the guy that's selling them is actually like the owner of a private lending like company. So that's a very interesting
It's made.
contact to have.
Right.
Because he mentioned like whenever we do finish this deal and everything goes well and everybody gets paid and everybody's happy,
Hmm.
he's like, if that goes over well, he's like, I'm fine with, working with you guys on other things.
Right.
Like he even told me, he was like, well, because he's in like Florida. As he was like, well, there's some other stuff I have going on here. If you're able to work this out, Darius, I'll come to you for more things. So I agree. Building that network is fantastic. A lot of
Hmm.
times can be worth a lot more than whatever your commission or your money you would have got off of
Right.
it would be.
Right. Yeah. I totally get it.
Hmm. So with wholesaling, so let's maybe talk about the distressed properties, right?
Hmm.
When we think of distressed properties, we think of things that are not move-in ready, things that, sometimes they're boarded up, sometimes broken windows, sometimes random dogs live underneath them. Uh,
Hmm.
you know, roof is gone, sometimes stuff is caved in,
Yeah.
all of these things. So whereas a lot of people would try to stay away from that, you're going towards these things. You're trying to,
Hmm.
figure out how they go. So what's your process with that? What due diligence do you go about, when you're looking at these kind of properties before you start trying to get them, assigned?
Right. So kind of like it's kind of like a mix because I work from home. I
Hmm.
don't go out and see every property, but I ask questions. And they're all I'm not gonna always get, honest answers, but I
Hmm.
do ask. But I do have terms in my contract to protect me and allow me and my end buyer to back out. Indeed, if it's something just so major that my end buyer wasn't, prepared for.
Sure.
So my biggest things is asking about structural. Are there any foundation issues, roof, electrical, plumbing, HVAC? Like, what are the condition? How old
Hmm.
is it? Are there any known issues? Because sometimes they know about it, sometimes they don't. And I always have a 10-day due diligence in my contract. That way, if I to look for end buyers, either they will go out themselves
Hmm.
or they will send their contractor. I've tried going out to some of the local properties, taking pictures, looking at what needs to be done, but I'm no licensed contractor.
Right.
Yeah. So what the end buyer is going to do anyway, which is a smart thing, they're going to go out anyway and look at it. they're going to send their contractor anyway to kind of to look at it. So my best bet is to go ahead and ask those questions, get as many pictures as I can get, as thorough as I can get it being remote,
Hmm.
and just go from there and let them know, hey, this is where I can come in. But if my partner finds anything during our due diligence or an inspection, we will have to kind of renegotiate on the buy price, and that's what gives me the opportunity and the flexibility to kind of come and say, hey, we found these issues that wasn't discussed, or in the beginning, so now we're having to readdress the buy price. We have to let it make sense for us.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think something that pulls people into, businesses or different ventures is the earnings, right? The money, the
Right.
dollars, all of that, right? Why else would we do it?
Right.
So would you say that wholesaling real estate is lucrative?
It is. um I guess it just depends on your deal. It depends on how good you are with negotiating too. And just being as thorough as possible when you're explaining why do you need to buy it at a certain price in order to
Mhm.
have, a bigger cut for yourself, and while staying within the margins of your end buyer. So yeah, I think it is lucrative. And also just depends on what you do with the money when you make it.
That's important.
Are you gonna sow it into something that can keep earning you money, or are you
Right.
just gonna, give it to your kids and let them take you to Target?
Hmm.
So, but yeah, it is lucrative. You just have to have a plan. Once those funds come in, you have to have a plan on how can you repeat, how can you make it easier on yourself to
Right.
let it make you money. Yeah.
No, I like that. So if you're willing to share,
Sure.
yep, I ask you. So what's the lowest amount that you've made on a deal, and what's the highest?
See, my answer a couple of weeks ago probably would have been $3,000 was my lowest.
Mm,
But as of a couple of weeks ago, $800 was my lowest. And it
okay.
was just a small distressed property. The seller is an investor himself, and he and I work together today. So it wasn't really about how much money I can make off of this deal.
Hmm.
It's about showing that, hey, I'm capable of working with you. And I'm not too greedy on, the money. The money would come.
Right.
I just want the people, the opportunity.
Sure.
So my partner, who's an agent, she presented this property to me. She wasn't an agent on the deal. It was direct to seller, so there was really no agent fee.
Hmm.
But the margins was already tight because the investor didn't want to go too low because he the rules and how it goes. So he had a hard stop.
Hmm.
And my end buyer also had a set number. So that just left me with like
Right.
$1,000 in between these two people. So I had to ask myself, do I want to take the $1,000,
Hmm.
or do I want zero and let somebody else get it?
Right.
Of course, I take the thousand
Yeah.
dollars.
Good question.
So, and remember me saying that if that agent brings me any deals that she's not the agent over, I give her 20%. So yeah, so I ended up giving her 20% of that thousand, and I had an $800 wire
Gotcha.
coming to me. Yeah,
Hmm.
it works. That was the lowest, but yeah, it still works. Like, he and I has a great relationship to this day, and we're working on deals now. So
That's good. See,
mhm,
relationships are sometimes, worth it.
it is. That was a seed I sowed.
I like it. I like it. It's gotta be tactical sometimes.
Right, right.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I am looking into doing bigger things in the real estate world. This is just a start for me to wholesale.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you start somewhere and you
Hmm.
learn, you grow, and you make bigger moves.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I've definitely heard lots of stories of people, starting with the wholesaling thing. Because honestly, it teaches you a lot of great things for a lot of no money. You're
Right,
already
right.
assessing properties and learning what people are willing to pay for what, and why people back out of deals or get into deals. Like
Hmm.
literally all the stuff that you'll need to know if you decide to start, purchasing your own properties or building up some kind of portfolio.
Right.
But to go back to the other question, what's the highest amount that you've made off of one?
The highest would be 10K.
10K.
That's my highest. I think when I was doing my research, I think I was always told by different investors, especially how you get the properties. If they're off market, you may make a little bit more, but if they're already on market, you can't price them,
Right.
too high. So yeah, my biggest cut was 10K. I want to kind of get between 10 and 15, but
Hmm.
things happen. You may become a little bit more flexible. And to me, you get what you get, or you walk away from the deal and get nothing.
Right.
Oh,
No, that makes perfect sense to me.
oh yeah.
Okay. Well, so 800 to 10K,
Right, right. And like I said,
just
that was 800 once. Out of
right.
from the year that I've been doing it, it always stayed in between anywhere from 3, 5, or 10.
Okay.
So yeah.
No, not bad. Not bad.
Mhm.
All right. So, I mean, you actually, just to go one more time. So you get your money from the title company?
I do. Money
How do you
always
work
gets,
that?
yeah. So submit the contract. I submit the contract with the seller to the title and closing company. Then I
Hmm.
submit the assignment contract as well to the title and closing coordinators. And everything flows through them. Once I submit the contract, they reach out to the seller, they vet the seller, they vet the buyer, my end buyer, of course. And once the end buyer pays for the property, and with my assignment fee included,
Hmm.
once the money is received, the closing coordinators, they wire me my assignment fee. Yep.
Okay.
Easy
Do,
peasy.
do your buyers ever meet your sellers?
I have had one so far who has actually met the seller and wanted to give more money out there talking to the seller. So that was a benefit to the seller. With that one, wow. I started off with, I think, I started off with like an $8,000 assignment fee.
Hmm.
We've gotten into title and closing, found out that the seller had a tax bill for over 7,500.
Mm.
She couldn't afford to pay it.
Right.
Um, and there was an agent involved. So I spoke with the agent, I spoke with my seller, and I said, hey, do we want to keep this thing going and kind of see what we can do to help her out? So
Hmm.
we all pitched in. I gave a little bit of my assignment fee to help with that 7,500. The seller gave the buyer, my end buyer, gave the seller a little bit more money to help, and the agent decided to come down from her fee. So we all pitched in and helped the
Right.
seller pay that bill, and not only pay that bill, but she still walked away with about $2,800.
Nice.
So we all worked together. The main goal was to make sure the seller was happy.
Right.
So yeah. Yeah, so I ended up with a lesser assignment fee, but hey, it was worth it. It was
Hmm.
about helping get it done.
Oh,
Right.
that's good.
Hmm.
So, you'd have said that this is, your starting point, maybe a stepping stone. What what goals do you have for the future? I guess maybe as far as real estate goes, or if you're planning
Right.
some other business, what's that?
It's gonna be all real estate right
Hmm.
now. Right now.
Sure.
So my husband and I, we've been talking about and we've been looking at properties um to house veterans in
Hmm.
a location that would be easy for the veterans to get to their appointments from the VA. So we're kind of looking in that area
Hmm.
and discussing some buy prices there. I've met with some lenders and they're on standby, just looking for the right property.
Right.
So that's one thing. I'm looking into Airbnb as well. Um, Not so much as buying a property to Airbnb right now. I kind of want to get in and learn the ropes. So I think I'm going to start with co-listing. I've done a lot of research and spoke to someone who's been co-listing, and they've already made $1 million in a year.
Okay.
just by co-listing.
Sure.
So that's a strategy there, is to just go and find furnished houses or, condos, duplexes, whatever that's been listed for rent for like 30 days or more, and talk to that landlord to say, hey, just let them know what I want to do, which is list your
Hmm.
property. I don't want to lease it. I just want to list it. You still remain, the landlord, instead of you having a long-term tenant. I want to co-list it on Airbnb for short term for maybe like a 25% um of your profit. So yeah, that's what I'm leaning toward now. I'm just getting the software ready, just getting some things ready so that I can hit the ground running with that.
Okay.
Yep.
No, that
Yep.
sounds good. I'm actually so the house that we actually closed on, I'm working on that now. I'm gonna get, a few carpets changed, a few walls painted. I gotta childproof the balcony.
Hmm.
But after I get all that stuff, ship shape, I'm gonna furnish it out. And I have a friend here in Montgomery that is a Airbnb manager, right?
Yep.
So she
Yep.
so she does that, and I
Hmm.
just happened to meet her through. I rented a car to her before, and we just got to talking. So
Wow. Wow.
yeah, yep, no, super surprising, but we're really cool now. So she came over. She's like, okay, we could probably do this and this, put this stuff
Wow.
here, gonna put couches here, bed there, so on and so forth. So after we get the little renovations done, I'm gonna go with her. We're gonna go bargain shopping, try to, furnish it out. My goal, I'd love to have everything done this month, right? Just,
Hmm.
just everything done because I'm still paying that guy. Um,
I know. I
and
know.
then it's a little bit of money. So I
Right.
wanna I wanna try to get this turned over to where it's making me money, sooner than
Right.
later. But
Right.
that's the plan for it. I'm planning on doing Airbnb primarily, just filling it out, seeing
Hmm.
how often people are coming in and out. And then if it's not often enough, I'm gonna try to pivot to like Furnish Finder, like midterm furnished
Right.
rentals, people that are coming in for long periods of time that want something
Right.
that's already furnished. Hmm.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's good that you have a plan A, B. That's
Yep,
awesome.
got to, because I don't want
Yeah.
to. Yeah, I don't like having all my eggs in one basket, and then it's like, oh,
Right.
somebody's renting this. Oh well, like nah, I'm,
Right.
I'm gonna list
Right.
that on like three different sites for short term. If that don't work, I'm gonna list it on three or four more sites for midterm.
Right.
And then if none of that works, then I'll go back to the traditional renting out. Like I needed to make something.
Right. Right. And it will. I'm sure it
Hmm.
will. I'm excited about it. Keep me
No,
updated.
no, I will. I will. So to close this out, if you had one tip to give anybody watching this that may be interested in wholesaling or just real estate, what would that tip be?
Just to humble yourself, be open to learning, get to know your buyers, your end buyers.
Hmm.
Just get out there and make yourself known. Like now I have a website, rekabuyshouses.com,
Sounds great.
that I'm advertising now. Just put yourself out there. Be willing to meet anybody, because you just never know what opportunity you would get from it, whether it's from a seller side or a buyer side. Just network, and know your market.
Okay, no, makes sense to me. Be humble, network, get a website, and you'll be off to the races.
Oh yeah.
Uh, yep. All right. So we will close this out. Once again, my name is Darius Lester. This is Mammoth Money Mindset.